name is Victor Raoul Powabangna Plans. Welcome to the WASH broadcast. In this WASH broadcast, we will be focusing on water handling techniques. Yes, proper water handling techniques. Why water handling techniques? Simply, we want to make sure that the water we use at home, at work, for drinking and for any other thing is safe for use or drinking. So when we talk about proper handling, water handling techniques, we are simply referring to the ways in which we can make water safe for use or for drinking. So when it comes to water handling techniques, we have 5 main factors we consider. We consider how we collect the water or fetch the water. 2 is how we store the water. 3 is how we transport the water. 4 is how we use the water. And 5 is how we treat the water when it gets contaminated. So I repeat, how we fetch the water, how we transport the water, how we store the water, how we use the water, and how we treat the water when it is contaminated. So for this particular broadcast, I will focus on the first one, which is how we properly collect or fetch the water from the source. It is very necessary to treat this topic because most people always assume that water is safe so far as it is coming from a safe source. That is not always the case. What makes water safe from a safe source is how you handle it after collecting it from that source. So when we talk about proper water handling techniques, and for that matter, how we are to collect the water from the source or fetch the water from the source, it is very important for us to look at the various factors or the various areas we end up, or activities we do that end up contaminating water at that source, and so that we can mitigate or address these. 1, people go to fetch water with dirty containers. Sometimes these are basins that are leaning on walls. These are basins that are exposed to animals and dust particles and even to the open. And when they are to fetch the water, they pick the containers in a haste. They rush to the point, and before you realize it, they put some water in it. Then they just rinse with their hand and pour it away. Also, we need to look at the cleanliness and safety around our water points. How often do we clean our water points? How often do we sweep the water platform? How often do we even wash the water platform? Because you realize that some water platforms become green and change color, or gray and change color, because they are hardly washed, and you see that bacteria and other person grows on them. So I ask, how often do we clean these water points? Next, you realize that when people are going to fetch water, especially those who fetch water from borehole sites or water collection points, they walk onto the platform with their sandals. And I ask, do you know what they actually stepped on, or where these sandals actually entered or trekked on before coming? Some use them at homes in their latrines. Some of them are just coming to the borehole from the bathrooms, from their bathrooms. Others have stepped on feces before coming, or any other contaminant before coming, and they all come and step onto the platform with that. And let's be frank, these platforms are usually wet, and by the time you realize, all the bottom of their soles, of the sandals, is washed or cleaned onto the platform. And as we speak, others will be walking on the platform, flip-flopping their sandals, which will be lifting all these dirt, mud, and all those things back into the water. At the water point, people talk a lot. Some are chewing cola, some are chewing stick, others whatever, and this saliva is coming out from their mouth into your water. How often do you wash your hands when you get to the water point? I will ask. We realize that at the point of even carrying this water, people's hands enter into the water, they dip into the water. So imagine where they might have touched. Surfaces. Some even clean their armpits with their hands. People use their hands in cleaning all sorts of things. And they come to the water point, they don't wash their hands. And then you have them help you carry the water. And their hands dip inside that. People are fetching water with open containers that are without lids. And as they fetch, the wind is blowing and all this water that enter into this water. Many other ways that our water gets contaminated at the points, but these are just a few scenarios. And I believe you watching this might just be a victim of some of these. So how do we prevent this? I will mention just a few. One, always make sure that your containers are properly washed with soap before you go to the water point. When you get there and you are using an open container, please, it means that dust particles might have settled on it, or the wind might have blown some particle or contaminant onto it. You need to rewash your container with soap. Always remember to wash your hands as well with soap under clean running water. Also, make sure that the borehole site is always clean and free from contaminants. Again, make sure you don't walk onto the platform of the borehole with your sandals. Make sure you leave them outside the platform before you walk on. When you walk on, wash your feet thoroughly. Finally, make sure you fetch your water with containers with lid. Most preferably, containers with small openings, like gallons, such that wind particles or wind cannot blow particles into your water. These are just a few of such examples I'll give to you, but I know you have several more examples that you can practice to keep your water safe. Until I come again with session 2, which will be focusing on water transportation as part of our water handling techniques. From me here, I say bye-bye and see you then. Be good and let's spread the message.